some CSGO tricks your friends definitely don't know, beginning with this one. If you jump out of the window hugging the wall, the player get right really can't see you. And there's a way to silently drop into window without making any noise off of the bricks. But before I show you more, before we go any further, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Leadify. Leadify is an AI coach that allows you to improve faster by analyzing your Faceit or matchmaking games and giving you insight into your weaknesses as well as personalized training. Leadify has a state-of-the-art rating system. Rather than trying to analyze your performance with an outdated rating based primarily on kill-to-death ratio, you can use Leadify's rating based around the impact your kills have on your team's chance to win rounds. If you want to go in-depth, you can go to your match page where you can see that I suck, but I can go deeper as well and get into a round-by-round breakdown of where I messed up and where I did well. Anyways, Leadify is free to use, so head to the link in the description and give it a try. Starting with this retake smoke on Inferno that's going to win you a ton of rounds because A on Inferno, very hard to retake, but this smoke, very hard to deal with. You just line up in the doorway here, aim at this point in the wall, and there's a bit of leeway here, but the player in sight and pit are going to have no idea what hit them. Here's a new boost that's very hard to deal with from the T's perspective, even if you know it's coming, and on the CT side, you can easily molly out back plat, your teammate is standing, and because of the height elevation, you just jump right up and are in a great position to clear out the site. Just try not to miss. A lot of people throw this smoke on Dust 2, mostly to survive and delay for rotates, but actually, if you jump on the baskets behind, oftentimes it ends up working as a ridiculous one-way, and your opponents can't see a single thing. You're in a 1v2, retaking B and clearing every angle except for this one. But did you know you can actually see their feet under the truck, and not only that, but spam them for a pretty quick and easy kill. And then of course, even with a missed flash, you still win the clutch because you watched this video. This angle and connector of Overpass is often called the Mahone angle. And it doesn't actually seem all that good, but when you watch it from their perspective, you're hidden behind their gun. Of course, unless they play left-handed, or just switch to it, kill you, and then switch right back. If you're willing to risk getting killed by a quad boost on Overpass, you can use this angle here outside heaven to very occasionally kill someone that's jumping across outside of Monster. Here's a 128 tick Molotov lineup on Dust 2 that will spread to the entire left side of long A doors and force your opponent into the open. But make sure you test this one because it takes a bit of practice. Dude, how am I missing? You may have seen some pros doing this peek and not really understood why. This is a great way to clear offers top middle because from their perspective, when you peek back, they can't really see you. When you're going for an A exec on Dust 2, make sure the bomb carrier is always near the back wall because it will always drop forward from where he's looking, and you could just get your whole team to drop down and be humiliated.
Did you jump CT with the bomb?
Dude, when you have the bomb, you have to stay on the back wall.
There's actually a famous round from Simple where he appears to get someone to turn around so it drops towards him. I found a pretty easy lineup. If you think someone's hiding in Sandwich, if you're back ramp with an op, you can easily line up using this gap here and then shoot them in the head through the wall. Or if you have a rifle, you might need to be a little bit closer, but you can still spam them for almost one-shot headshot. Very useful. If you spot someone like this, instead of trying some crazy flash, just right-click it and peek in front, and almost every time your opponent will turn around. In fact, my favorite place to do this is window on Mirage, where even if you know it's coming, it's almost impossible to counter. The Mp9 is the most accurate jumping gun in the game, to the point where you can actually make plays like this. And you don't need to do something that crazy, you can just jump around corners and pretty consistently kill people. If your opponents throw a lurk smoke out of apartments on Inferno, there's actually a light in the doorway where you can see them cross. Although it is very risky to shoot at them because they cross very fast and you might not finish them off. And don't worry, you don't have to be in the middle of the open for this, you can actually be behind cover. There's a very similar light at Library that you can use to get a kill as well. In fact, Kerrigan used it in the major final, but he died. You've probably been in this situation before. Alright, I'm flashing above you.
Wait, where?
Seemed like a good flash, right? But your teammate got full blinded. I'm flashing above you.
Wow.
And that's exactly why. So instead of throwing flashes your teammates have to turn from, I recommend idiot-proofing your nades by throwing ones that land behind your teammates and in front of your opponents, unless you're playing with people you can trust. Here's a nice little Molotov you can throw on CT of Inferno and then peek someone halls. It looks like you mollied balcony, but joke's on them. Alt mid on Inferno, there's these 2 balcony windows and these 3 other weird ones that can be used to mask footsteps as your teammate jumps up. Your opponent can't really hear anything, he might walk into boiler and get himself killed. But sadly, none of that hard work actually matters if you run out boiler and instantly die to their cheater. If you're trying to rush something with your team, instead of throwing this smoke super early, giving your opponent plenty of time to react, you can take a tick or 2 of damage and catch them off guard, maybe even with a nade out. Here's a one-way smoke on Nuke that you need to use with a teammate, but is actually insane because your opponents can't see you at all and you can clear pretty much all of upper. And from the T's perspective, this just looks like a weird smoke. If you want to look like a pro on Overpass, you should really be blowing out the door pretty much every round because it makes it very uncomfortable for the T's to try and take connector whether or not you're in there, and in fact you can actually spam them really easily as they clear it. This is the lineup for that spam, just anywhere just over the top of that sandbag, and there's a few other spams in short as well. If you want to take someone down that's coming through short pipe, you just get in this corner and spam just over the side of the sandbag there, and if you've ever seen someone late round throwing a heaven smoke, it's a very easy spam as well, straight through there. We've been experimenting with one-way nades, and they seem kind of overpowered. In fact, this one is really just improvised and it's a free kill. This one on short A is something we've theorized for a while. You throw it kind of like a standard lurk smoke, and from the T's perspective, there's a bit of smoke, but not anything crazy. From the CT's perspective, double zoomed in on the angle, you can't see a thing. But Vu, what if I was floating right above Cat really close? Still can't see anything. Have you ever really looked at Blue Bin? I mean really looked at it? What is that hitch there? Could you? Yes, you can jump on the hitch of Blue Bin, and it's fairly effective from both directions to catch your opponents off guard. If your opponent fakes the bomb and then moves away from it to catch you off guard, sometimes instead of letting them do it again, the best play is to catch them when they run back to tap it a second time. Here's something I only just learned, because most people know you can right-click nades while defusing, however you can't left-click them, it won't let you. But instead, if you hold right-click, then add in left-click, and then let go of right-click, you can actually left-click throw any nades while defusing pretty easily. For example, here on Overpass, it looks like he's faked the bomb because a Molotov gets thrown short, but actually, he's defusing. And I was wondering this myself, so I asked Leadify, you can actually rank up or rank down on a tie game. Here's an interesting old school molly on Mirage that people have forgotten about. Now, it's a bit hard to throw, you need to practice it, but if done correctly, it gets all of B Site and can win you rounds. And here's a spam you probably haven't seen before. If you think someone's lining up the lurk smoke from apartments, you can jump on the site boxes and spam them through the wall. Here's a lineup to silently drop into alt middle from apartments. Run forward and then hold A when you hit the wall and you won't make any noise. This smoke used to be common, but people have forgotten and it's insane. A couple of these I found just for this video, and if you appreciate that, click on this next video YouTube thinks you'll like.